Hey there, my name is Pravus, and welcome to a game called Plan B Terraform. This is an indie strategy game that at first glance looks a little bit like Factorio. It is developed and published by Gaddy Games, and it is still very much an early access title. This game is not completely finished, but you can access it early and kind of play around with it if that's something you are into. The idea of the game is pretty straightforward. We're going to take a lifeless planet, and we are going to turn it into a lush habitat for humanity and fuel a massive city. But the late game, not totally realized as of right now. You do eventually run out of resources and everything kind of falls apart eventually if you play long enough. So in some ways, this game is currently kind of a race against time. I expect that's going to change as it continues its development. Nonetheless, it's pretty fun in its current stage, and I figure it's worth a quick spotlight. So let's go ahead and jump into a new planet, and we're going to call this one, I don't know, Jodafin. Sure, why not? You have been mandated to manage the resources of a newly discovered planet, bring supplies to the cities, and manage the terraforming projects. Good luck! Alright, let's go ahead and zoom in on our planet. Hooey! Ooh, I see some volcanoes over here. That might have some implications for me a little bit later. Alright, so this is our little starting outpost in New St. Petersburg. If we click on it, this starts up the tutorial. So the first thing we need to do is find some iron. Iron. I see a few other deposits. I see aluminum. I see some fluorite. I see some sulfur. Looking for the red stuff. Okay, there's some down over here. This is probably going to be fine, so let's select the iron down here. This is the starting resource we're the most concerned with. So the first thing we're going to do, start extracting the good stuff. Let's go over here to basic industry, and we're going to place down one of the 6 different extractors that I start with. How about one here? And actually, we'll just go ahead and place like 3 like this. All right, I think this is fine. Now, they're gathering up materials, but they have nowhere to place it. For that, we need to place down a depot. Place it next to it, and we're going to go ahead and select iron ore as our chosen resource to store. And you can see from the little arrows that it's going to be dropping off resources over here. Now we need to do something with that iron, so we're going to go ahead and take ourselves a factory. And we are going to be placing it right next to the depot to access those resources and take the iron and make steel bars. You can see right here with the little arrows how the drones are going to be moving stuff around. And then we need to have another depot to place down said steel bars. That's one very basic production chain done. And then we want to go ahead and get ourselves an assembly plant. We can place one right over here next to that depot and start manufacturing some extractors from the steel. And that will get tossed into my global pool. So now we're gathering up iron, we're refining it, and we're making it into something useful. We should probably do the exact same thing, if I'm honest, and make, let's say, some extra depots, so I'll be able to continue building to my heart's content. There we go. With both of these set up, the absolute bare basics are going to be up and running pretty much non-stop. Excellent. Now that we've completed our objective here, we get to see that we've leveled up to level 2 at this point, and now it gives me some new objectives. Build 5 factories and place them somewhere. Okay. Well, the easiest way to do that right now is actually probably going to be removing this here depot and moving it elsewhere. So let's go ahead and get rid of that, right? Sorry, the assembly plant, I mean to say, and place down an extra factory over here. We're going to adjust the production chain just a bit. So we're already producing steel. Let's turn that into mechanical parts. With mechanical parts, we'll be able to start manufacturing some more stuff. So let's see, we place that there. We get ourselves a little assembly plant, and I guess just make more factories to start. That should be fine. Okay, that's enough factories. That means I've moved up to level 3. The new objective, reach a population of 10 in your biggest city. So that means we need to start producing some resources, namely concrete, and sending these over to our city, which you haven't seen yet, which is going to give it the supplies it needs to actually expand and build up our population. So we need to produce some concrete using sulfur, and then we can build out roads, which allows us to start transporting resources at long distances. We'll have to get some trucks, and we'll have to place down a supply center next to the city, which gives the supplies they need. Process should be pretty familiar. We just get some extractors down. We place down a quick factory over here. I say I want to start producing a bit of concrete. We get ourselves another depot to easily store this stuff. And that honestly should be all you would need as far as getting the concrete, but now we need the ability to start moving it from place to place, and that's where I'm going to need to have things like roads. We also know we're going to need some trucks, so it might make sense to also start producing some surplus mechanical parts. That could be wise. We'll go ahead and place down another assembly plant, start making the trucks. Boom. All right, so that should be enough to supply me with enough trucks to go around, and then I'm pretty sure we need to not only have a source of concrete, do we actually need... We need an assembly plant to make this stuff into roads, I think, but we also need just concrete to send. So tell you what, I'm going to wait till I have a few more extractors. We're going to set up a whole extra production chain just to make roads. There we go. All right, so you can see that we're now making the sulfur, turning that into concrete, and it is producing roads, and we should have the ability to start getting ourselves some trucks. So now we can do all of this fun stuff. Excellent. We need to go ahead and get another thing down first, though, and over here by the city, that's going to be a supply center. So in addition to all of this, I need just like actual raw concrete. I do have some, so I guess what I need to do now is also manufacture a supply center. Sure. Honestly, just like 1 or 2 should be enough to start, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to delete this and just start storing up the concrete. We don't need to be doing this long term. Couple should be fine just to get me going. So supply center needs to get placed next to the city. So right over here, I think will be fine. We'll do that. Now we need to connect these things by some roads. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and we don't have enough roads yet. All right, let's wait until we manufacture a few more. So if I take the truck, place it here, and then say we want to have a route that runs all the way back here, that should be fine, and we'll say that this is specifically for the transportation of concrete. Okay, you can see that this has now changed up for a nice little loading pad. The truck is going to grab some of the resources and start bringing it over here. The entirety of the game ultimately comes down to dropping off resources at your city so that they are able to grow through the supply centers. This is going to get dropped off like so, and then it's going to get fed into the city in just a moment. Oh, I think we need a depot here as well. Forgot about that. Hang on. Sorry. Place you right here. Concrete. And there we go. Now it gets dropped off and sent into the supply center, which goes into the city. We need to have steady supplies being dropped off. And at any point you do not continue feeding the resources needed into the city, well, then it's going to start contracting and devolving, and that's obviously no good. We also want to have plenty of trucks doing this, so let's go ahead and set up an extra couple of routes to make sure we are constantly supplying what I need. So now I have 3 trucks up and running. All right, that should end up being enough. Annual supply demand is currently 10. So you can see that we are currently insufficient at only 33%. Now we're up to limited. Okay, we need to get this all the way up to the maximum. We dropped off enough. There we go. Satisfactory. All right. With this supply center in the green, we should start seeing this city expand over time. The population of New St. Petersburg is currently at 5, slowly going up. Oh, and there we go. We see our first round of the city starting to expand. Eventually, you end up having megacities that sprawl over huge chunks of the planet. So, I mean, like, that's kind of the end game goal if you can get to that point. Oh, there we are, level 4. Okay, reach a population of 100 for the city. Okay, that's gonna be good. So, what do you need exactly? It looks like they need oxygen and concrete now. Okay, fair enough. Well, we can at least continue expanding the city a little bit with the concrete, but the oxygen is going to be a whole new problem. Got to figure that sucker out. So now we need to build out some atmospheric extractors. This gets oxygen and carbon from the atmosphere. We need to get not only some mechanical parts, but also we need to have some aluminum bars. And not only do we need to have aluminum bars, we need to start transporting all that into one area so we can have a bunch of different assembly plants. So we could either move everything down here, or we can meet somewhere in the middle, and that way we have aluminum and iron products all being delivered into one area. I kind of like that idea a little bit better. Gives me more flexibility for the future. We'll start with the easy stuff, though. We need aluminum, or aluminium, as some of you guys prefer to call it, for some reason. Let's go ahead and drop some more extractors off over here, and then maybe a few more like this. We're going to need a lot of this stuff, and I know that we're going to need a lot of this stuff, so that's fine. The good news is we're producing plenty of extractors, plenty of depots, plenty of everything. So we can afford to continue just expanding like crazy over here. Okay, so that takes care of some long roads over here. So now we just wait to start producing some of the mechanical parts, of which I've got 2 different sources of iron being fed into this, so this should be easy enough. And then the trucks are going to do their job. Let's go ahead and toss a couple of extra trucks in here to speed things along. Same exact thing going to happen over here with the aluminum. Okay, that should be our first atmospheric extractor finished. Does this actually need to get dropped off somewhere? Let me check something. No, they're just raw materials. So let's take a look. Yep, we got 2 of these right now. Perfect. All right, so we can extract the oxygen and the carbon already. Question is, where do we do that? Do we do it closer to New St. Petersburg? Then I'm going to have to worry about moving the carbon around. I'm not sure if that's quite what I want to do or not. Maybe. Let's go ahead and just place down, let's say, 4 over here for now. Okay, we'll just go ahead and do a couple like this. And then we'll place down a quick little depot like this, and we'll start getting the oxygen. And then I need to have some method of extracting the carbon too. So we'll come back to that later, though, because that doesn't seem as important. We just need to start delivering this to the city. Now, if you find yourself in a situation where it's really hard to actually get materials to move where you want them to, you could either set up some roads and have things get transported around. That's one way to do things. Or you can set up a whole bunch of supply depots linked together. But as you can see, they do try to keep a minimum amount in these pads, so it's not necessarily an efficient way to do things. Population currently growing to about 52. We can see that the city is starting to expand. Okay. Haven't gotten into any actual terraforming yet, but that's fine. So, baby steps first. Gotta make sure that the humans actually have a place to live. There's level 5. All right. Reach population of 350. My God. All right. However, we can apparently now get drones up to Mark II, which is going to have extra range. I could see that being very helpful. What does it take to get a Mark II depot? It takes aluminum bars and polymer bars, and I am pretty sure that polymer bars are going to be manufactured from that carbon byproduct we've already had with the atmosphere. We can take a look at a single assembly plant and just double check that. No, I am incorrect. Alrighty then, what about a factory? Can a factory make polymers? Yes, it can. There we go. Carbon turned directly into polymers. Alright, I was close. Okay, so we're taking some carbon. We're just kind of dropping it off over here so we don't have to use a bunch of depot chains. That's going to be taken over here to make these polymers, which as they get produced are going to get brought down over here where I already have some extra aluminum bars. And we can see that, yes, we are now making Mark II depots for that extra range. Excellent. That's going to be very helpful. Besides that, what else does New St. Petersburg require? It appears they just want reinforced concrete now. Reinforced concrete? My God. Okay, hang on. So what is reinforced concrete, I wonder? To get reinforced concrete, we need steel and we need concrete all in one place. Gotcha. I assume as long as the city doesn't contract, we shouldn't need to have the regular concrete. If I do, I can always rework this just a bit. But there we go, yeah. So now we're producing this. Let's go ahead and toss a couple of extra trucks onto the steel bars to make sure that we can boost this up since it has the longest distance to travel. And you know what, for the heck of it, let's go ahead and toss an extra depot in here just to make sure that we have plenty of storage over here, so that's not the issue. Yeah, it always tries to keep this even for some reason, not too sure why. Can we upgrade you directly to a tier 2 thing? Yes, we can. Let's go ahead and toss in a couple of extra extractors like this, and they should start picking up even further away. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And that is level 6. Okay, now we get to start the terraforming. We need to build a greenhouse gas generator and release SF6 into the atmosphere, some proper dedicated greenhouse gas. This is going to take mechanical parts and some high-tech parts, which we haven't built yet, and we need to take some sulfur and some fluorite to turn that into a very potent greenhouse gas. Fair enough. So what does it take to get myself the high-tech parts? We need aluminum and polymers. You know what? That's fine. We were already basically doing exactly that, now weren't we, for the Depot 2s? One thing I think is a little annoying is that you cannot build your depots in such a way that 2 different routes can land at the exact same spot. It has to be dedicated in some way. So I have to create something kind of weird like this. It's just like, it's not as aesthetically pleasing nor as efficient, but like, yeah, whatever, I guess. Okay, we have produced ourselves our first of the greenhouse generators, so that's good. We've actually got 3 of them, never mind. So what we need now is the SF6, okay? So for SF6, remind me what we need to do with that. That requires sulfur and fluorite. Right. So the good news is both of those are located right over here, so that should be convenient. So I'll place down one of these greenhouse generators, and we'll just go ahead and put one there. Maybe we'll go ahead and put a second one, maybe even a third one for good measure. Yeah, sure, why not? Okay, we'll do that, and then we'll place down a level 2 thing there for fluorite, and a level 2 one over here for the sulfur. That way I can reach all 3 no matter what. Now I just need to extract. Same thing. Easy, easy, easy. We've done this many times before. Hook up the sulfur, hook up the fluorite, increase the number of trucks. We have, let's say, 8 for the sulfur since it's a longer trip, like 2 or 3 over here. Fluorite is mining up pretty darn quickly, so now we're just waiting for a little bit of that to drop off, and there we go. Okay. So right now the temperature of the planet is minus 58.1 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that's a lot. That's pretty cold, but it's pretty darn cold. But you can see we've already gone ahead and increased the temperature by 0.06. If we can just keep dropping off more resources over here to have all 3 running simultaneously, this should be pretty cool and quick for me. While we're waiting for all of this, let's go ahead and double check some of my other supply chains, because I'm willing to bet we're, starting to run out of things like some iron. So let's go ahead and remove these extractors. And this is where the game having finite resources adds challenge, but I can also see how this will start to frustrate a few people. Because, you know, in a chill kind of game like this, finite resources just feels bad, man. It really, really does. It's just going to feel horrible. Okay, we've raised the temperature by 1 degree. Now we're at level 7. We need to reach a population of 1,000. But in doing so, we have unlocked rails and trains. All right, if we can get enough parts together, this should greatly increase my ability to move things around logistically. Oh, though we are seeming to run out of resources down over here in St. Petersburg, so we're not actually producing, we're producing just enough to basically keep the city sustained, but not enough to keep it going. We got to keep finding ways. Oh, we're actually running out of things like some steel bars here, too. Ah, okay. And see, this is part of the problem. So we got to find more ways to keep this a-going. Okay, at this point, we are now manufacturing some trains and rails. It's taken a lot of parts and stuff. Kind of had to rework a few different production chains, but now we're getting somewhere, so okay. The thing that's killing me right now appears to be the steel bar production going for the reinforced concrete. I got kind of a mind to just get rid of this whole thing and see if we can replace it with a train, because I'm using 40 trucks over here. 40 of the dang things, right? Like, that just seems excessive. So I'm going to reduce the number of trucks on the road. Right, we're going to delete this whole route, and then I'm going to see if it's possible for me to go ahead and just replace this all directly. Okay, so it works exactly the same way, I think. Place. There we go. And then we place down a train going from... it doesn't actually let me place it along here. This to, I guess, like, how do I do this? Wait a minute. How does this actually work? Train lines work like roads, except you must build the rails in a way that there are no U-turns. They cannot have dead ends. Ah, okay. So that makes sense. We go ahead and do a little thing like this, and then a little thing like this, and then we get rid of you, and we can do the same thing down here, and hopefully then we can drop things off. Okay, now we pick you up like this, and then all the way up over, let's say, here, I think. And what were we dropping off? I think it was steel bars, right? So we do that, okay, and then I just go ahead and upgrade these things to level 2 to make sure that they can reach, and that should do the job. All right. So there's our train. It's going to pick up a whole load like this. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay. Interesting, though. It wasn't able to drop off everything in time. Huh. Okay. So you have to deliberately design this in a way where it has enough time to hang out at the warehouses to pick stuff up, because it does not come to a complete stop. There we go. Got a full train that time. All right. So having 3 of those depots with 6 drones to load them up seems to be good enough, and we dropped everything off over here. Okay, so at least we're storing up enough steel bars to keep these things running full time, which is really what I'm looking for, because as long as we're doing that, we can try to meet the needs of these folks. No more trucks are going to help me. I think what you end up doing is you use trucks for short-term runs, and then you want trains to have giant logistics systems taking them to big resource assembly hubs, and then you can have a whole bunch of trains running at once. That would make sense. I mean, definitely making a difference. 2 trains is ensuring that we actually have enough steel parts to keep these things running full time. That is great. Only thing I can think to do to make this better then is go ahead and get myself another one of these factories and make more reinforced concrete. Perfect. Perfect. Frankly, we could really benefit from doing the exact same thing as far as oxygen deliveries, because between both of these routes, I've also got another like 52 trucks, and it's still not enough. I am producing so much oxygen, and not all of it is able to arrive. There we go. Now I got enough reinforced concrete, a couple of extra trucks, should be enough to just kind of keep this all going. We're starting to stack up. Boom, 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 bada, 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 boom. Frankly, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and do let's go ahead and do that train thing I was talking about. It's needed for the oxygen. Okay, so we can load a heck of a lot more up like that. Perfect. And then we'll go ahead and toss on a second train just for the heck of it. Same difference up over here. So that's going to be a lot of oxygen production being delivered over here to New St. Petersburg. And if I can just toss some of those extra trucks over here instead, that should give me plenty of delivery space. We actually need another train up over here to drop off more steel bars. Can we even keep up with the production? Interestingly, no, we cannot. We seem to be running out pretty quickly. However, we have reached level 8. Now we need to increase the temperature by 10 degrees, which I've actually already done. We've also unlocked metal waste from the city, waste disposal, and then eventually some recycling centers. So we can take some of that waste and turn it back into materials. Okay, good. And then level 9, reach a population of 200 in your second biggest city. So now we need to do this all over again with a second city supplying all these needs. But with trains, that feels like a totally feasible thing to do. That said, for the purposes of this video, I think we've probably covered enough ground that you have some idea what's going on, so I'm not going to continue playing much more beyond this. However, you can imagine, as you start increasing the temperature, eventually you're going to have water all over the planet as a lot of the ice starts to thaw, which can apparently be fairly destructive, and there's really not much warning of what's going to happen or where, so you just sort of run into this sudden point where all of a sudden the water comes out of nowhere and can break a lot of your stuff. That's a common complaint I'm seeing. It sounds like there's going to have to be some ways to try and improve that a little bit in the future. You can also imagine other challenges that come with planting all the greenery and stuff. There's a lot of terraforming that we haven't even touched, right? All we're doing right now is pumping a stupid amount of gas into the atmosphere to raise up that temperature. And it's going to take a little time. But imagine all these production chains getting more and more complex as time goes on. Imagine a whole recycling initiative. In fact, you know what? Before I end this, let's just take a look and see if there's anything we can do with this. Waste disposal takes some concrete. Apparently, we're going to have to do that. And then the recycling center needs some high-tech parts. All right, hang on. There we go. Okay, so now we've got some of that going in. Let's go ahead and place down some... How about waste disposal over this direction? We'll get, like, let's say 3 of them or something. I don't know if that's excessive. We'll place down a depot here. Can we pick up waste? Yes, metal waste goes over there. And then, I assume we place down a recycling center, or maybe even 2. We can start taking the metal waste and turning it into stuff over here. Got it. So we can produce steel bars and aluminum bars out of metal waste. Or plastic waste eventually becomes some polymers. So this is a good way of reclaiming some materials from your people. Got it. And yeah, it looks like the city does start naturally producing a lot of this stuff. So this is a way of reclaiming some materials so we can feed that back into the machine so that we'll be able to drop off more stuff so we can keep the city growing at a nice, happy clip. Oh, we need high-tech parts now in order to grow the city any further than this. Well, that's going to be a thing we worry about later. So yeah, just imagine where this game's going to be able to go. It really does have some pretty awesome potential. I think the best way to play things, by the way, absolutely rush up to the point where you get trains, create massive resource and or assembly hubs where everything comes together, and then just have trains running things back and forth, and that's probably going to be the most efficient way to do things. And then you can focus hardcore on growing up your cities, moving things from point A to point B with the trains, and start terraforming the planet. I think it's pretty cool. I think there's a few complaints that are valid about the game as far as the late game. I haven't experienced that personally, but if you look at the Steam reviews, you'll see that's a common complaint. But remember, this is an early access title, and it is going to be getting a lot of updates over time. So this is something to keep your eye on. If you guys do want to pick up the game for yourself, there will be a Steam link in the description down below. I will say that the game is $10, which I consider to be a pretty reasonable price for what you're getting. I wouldn't be surprised if that goes up in the future. So this is something that you want to just kind of bank on. You may want to go ahead and consider picking that up early, have some fun with it, learn a few things, and then wait for the game to get developed a bit more. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope that you found this informative and helpful. If you did, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.